worried that you might be the cool kid? You wear the latest fashions on top of all the trends? Or have you ever worried you were too much in the mainstream? Always so generic, more normal than your friends? Well, we've devised a test to put to rest your fears. There's no need to panic if you lend us your ears. Tonight you can't sleep easy after all that you've heard. Cause if you like the show, then you're probably a nerd. Oh, Canon, it's all. Tyler, Phil, and Boris. Oh, Canon, it's all in Canon.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of the It's Canon Podcast, the podcast where we chat about all things geek, the podcast where we chat about all things geek, the podcast where we chat about all things nerd, the podcast where we chat about all things comics, video games, movies, Lego, and so much more. As long as it's in canon, we will talk about it. We're hosts, I'm Boris, and as always, I am joined by Phil.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? I guess I direct that at Boris, as he can answer.
Don't even know what's going on. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with your camera right now. You're not even appearing on my screen right now.
Oh, great. It's one of those shows.
One of those shows, one of those days.
I'm appearing with you.
One of those years, one of those months, one of those... I don't even know anymore, Phil. It's been one of those
Yeah, I'm
days.
hearing the music doubled over. I don't know what's going on.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I
That
can
would
see
happen.
myself. Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you get it?
No,
No?
I can't see you. Nope. That's all right. I don't need to see you. That's all right.
It's funny. I can see me. I can see you.
Good for you. Good for you. Want to hear a biscuit?
Maybe. As he checks his phone to see what the live feed looks like.
That's literally what I'm doing right now. Literally what I'm doing right now. Looks fine live. That's all that matters.
All right. All right.
What a day. Oh,
The
there
old
you are.
format.
There you go.
Hey,
You're
vamp
there.
for me. Oh, damn. You can receive
Oh,
me.
I'm
now. Me and my Fraggle
the-
Rock glory.
right. Right.
Yeah.
No, I think we're both having internet issues right now.
Yeah, here's some advice for anyone taking the time to listen. And thank you for doing so. Be sure not to change your internet service provider on the day you're doing a live show. Just tomorrow might be fun at work. I'm riding on the old internet right now because I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I think that's throwing a few gremlins into everything.
To say the least.
So,
To say the least.
yeah.
It's
and
funny
then on
because like
top
when
we had tech
we
issues. So, it's like,
we're talking over each other more than normal because
Sorry.
the internet is all screwed up. But here's the thing. When I moved over to the fiber internet, it did take a little while for it to like kick in properly.
No, and tonight I've been testing mine, because I live in a place that hasn't been previously available for that service. And it's gone from a gigabyte up to 1.5 over the course of an hour. And it's supposed to max out at 1.5.
You see, I'm at 425 megs down right now, so just
Nothing to scoff at.
saying.
Yeah. Nothing to scoff at.
Right.
So
Right? It is what it is, man. It is what it is. All right, it's kind of funny because we were supposed to be live yesterday. Funny enough, tech issues happened, and I think we had more tech issues today, but that's fine. But it kind of worked out in the grand scheme of things because so many things happen. A lot of upfronts are happening this week. Disney and Warner Brothers Discovery had a shit ton of announcements that we are going to be talking about throughout this show. And then we're going to be talking about reviewers and kind of the reviewer conundrum that's happening right now in the industry and specifically the video game industry. And we've seen this because that little website with 3 letters that has the G in the middle, the N at the end, and the I in the beginning, they kind of fall into this pressure time after time. And we'll talk about that a little later. But Phil, how are you doing?
Recovering from May the 4th, my friend. Recovering. It's
Financially, physically, spiritually, emotionally. Which one?
mostly financially, I think, because I told myself I'm not going to buy a lot of Lego. I didn't buy a lot of Lego off a Lego site, but darn it, don't you know Amazon put a ton of Lego on for like 30% off? Star Wars Lego, like they're not idiots. So I kept on getting tempted, and there were some sets that were selling out on the Lego site that weren't sold out on the Amazon site. So I started grabbing those, like Grogu's Escape. The one I'm really trying to get my hands on is the Darth Maul ship. But that one's sold out on Lego. It'll come back. It'll be there later, so I'm not worried. The other nice thing about that set, I don't know if we talked about it last week, but the 25th anniversary figure in that is Saw Gerrera. And that's the first time he has been in Lego form. So the attitude with the 25th anniversary minifigs this year is they are including minifigs that otherwise wouldn't get their own playset. So Fives is in the hallway one. The guy from one of the Sith Lords from Knights of the Old Republic is in the other. And then you've got Saw Gerrera, and it's being kind of leaked and speculated. Jedi Bob is going to be one, which he featured in the Lego new Star Wars Lego cartoon coming out. It's like What If meets Star Wars, except in Lego. And then there's also going to be R2-D2 in pink, or pink R2-D2, which is an homage to the 501st daughter who passed, and Ninum, so from Return of the Jedi.
Very cool. Very cool. That's really cool. There's a lot going on. I'm just gonna fix that, put that where it's supposed to be when both of us are on screen at the same time.
The last one is Cal Kestis. He's gonna be
Cal.
He's gonna be in that Star Destroyer I showed you last week.
Nice.
And then one of the other rumors that has gone on this year is that there's a black Millennium Falcon coming out. Black Lego Millennium Falcon. We couldn't figure out how they were going to work this into lineup. Like, is it just like the mechs, just something weird that they're doing? But it all relates back to that What If show because they showed Black Millennium Falcon in it.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
Very interesting what comes in that set and what minifigs we get with reconfigurations, like a white Darth Vader. We don't know because now everything's, we're getting Darth Jar Jar for sure. And Ahmed Best is voicing him.
Really?
Yeah, he got accreditation. So,
actually, you know what? I did see that. Actually, it came across my news feed on this eNote reader that I use, which is the greatest thing ever. I just love this app so much.
Oh, that's pretty cool on the eNote. That's cool. Yeah, I'm big into that stuff, man. I like the old tech.
Same.
Same. Yeah, it's a shame about BlackBerry, right?
Well, Canadian government, right? They care more about overpriced trains and shitty construction projects, but not about technology and things that can, actually move forward.
Move industry. Yeah. Yep. It's just wild, watching the BlackBerry, how they broke that movie up into a series.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I showed my dad the first episode on Gem, and then I'm like, oh no, we ain't doing this. You got to see the whole movie because you're gonna be so confused by the end of this, Dad. So I pulled it up and made him watch the whole thing, and he was just like, that was a pretty good movie because he likes the hockey. So he got the little bit of hockey stuff in there. He liked that.
It was good. It was a very well done movie. Like I said many times, it's very close to what actually happened. It was dramatized for a movie, but it wasn't really anything crazy.
Yeah, the core.
Like they got the gist of iPhone came out and the owners and managers and everyone kind of didn't take it serious while the employees did. That's literally what happened.
Yeah. It's kind of funny what happened. And I remember you talking to me at the time because I do recall that was like before we went to a TFC game and I had gotten my 3G iPhone and you were like, oh, Phil, like, but it doesn't have buttons. You were using
Right.
that, but you could see, right? It's like you pull
Oh,
it out
for
of your
sure.
pocket and everybody was on it. And I'm like, have
Hmm.
we really become so dismissive to something that's been literally in our pockets for so long before that and being so reliable in the BlackBerry? You know what I mean? Like that device in all of the different iterations that it hit my pocket in was always a bang on great device. So credit where
Yeah,
credit's due. I just
100%.
think that I miss it still to this day. It's like my dad laments. Everything's a goddamn app now. Like this was the days when you could have technology and it wasn't geared towards farming your data.
And it's funny because the whole concept of apps is around because of the limitations that Apple had. Because they didn't have a good browser, because they didn't have good technology, they had to find a way to give you the news,
Yeah.
to give you email, to give you these things. These things weren't native on their platform. They had to find a way to do it. So they created applications to do and supplement the drawbacks of the actual OS.
Yeah, and it was just everything was just there in
Yeah, but then that's
but in BlackBerry you could just go in and put in your email address and your type of email and the password and then boom, there's your email.
Yep.
Right? It was ahead of its time in so many ways, and it was just in time on so many others. But hey,
but that's how the world works, right? Like that's how tech works. Tech is constantly changing, and if you didn't, I don't know how many times, and I don't know how many companies need to be reminded that if you don't look forward, you're going to be left behind.
yeah, we're currently, without giving away much in my work, we are currently adopting that, and it is very painful as an employee, but it's also we did a major platform change and I had to, tell my boss, you were right. After I did some work in it, I got used to the interface. I'm like, yeah, things are quicker, things are better, things are more efficient. I'm not
Change
triplicating
management
their work.
is not easy as well, right? Like people
No.
don't like change. Your place of work, especially, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It is difficult, but as we get younger as a company, like our refresh cycle on employee age is getting younger, the baseline, it's actually making the technology end of it a lot easier because young people are a little more open to technological change and enhancement to make
to a
things
certain
better,
extent,
right?
certain age groups are.
Yeah.
Certain age
Yeah.
groups. I'm finding that like the fresh out of school, they're not.
Yeah, it's interesting. Maybe there isn't as much of a focus on tech. I don't know. And then
Maybe.
I see like the same age group be able to pick up a tablet or do digital drawings without hesitating. And that's something that just bends my mind.
Yeah.
Because I have to build it on paper. You know what I mean? And they're like, no.
Funny that we're
Oh.
even talking about tech. I don't have a lot of time, right? But and when it's late at night, I find it very hard to start a new show. It takes me a while to start a new show unless I have the time to watch it. I'm not going to start it, right? So I rewatched a show that both you and I love, and it's fuck those last few episodes are always so hard.
Which one?
We're talking about tech.
I know
Both of us
I'm
loved it,
reviewing in my mind.
and those last few episodes are always difficult to watch.
Oh, I'm drawing a blank, man.
When I say it, you're going to feel like an idiot.
I know I'm going to feel like an idiot for sure. I already do.
Halt and Catch Fire.
Halt and Catch Fire. Okay, I wasn't sure. I couldn't remember. I was thinking of that show. I was going to say it, but I wasn't sure if you were into it because I think you were the guy that got me into it. And I got our
I'm the
group
one who
in.
told you about it. Yeah.
Yeah. I've actually got some of the DVDs on the shelf behind me. I went and I bought
Honestly,
season.
such a freaking good show, man. Such a good show. And yeah, it's like I just love the show because it really does show the tech industry from so many places, from so many points of view, and that's what I really do like about that show. I have found also, completely to derail the conversation, I have found the most comfortable way of sitting doing the show right now. I have so just tranquilo doing this right now. It's amazing.
I gotta say, I made a change with my chair too. I don't know if you can tell, but I've gone with a complete mesh back headrest and mesh seat bottom with ergonomics. So now I have lumbar support instead of, and I love
No lumbar support, but it looks cool.
Yeah, I love my gaming chair, and it is still pretty comfortable, I gotta say. But man, after what, there's something that my friends and I noticed over the pandemic, having the office chairs or gaming chairs at home. And that was, now that we're being asked to spend 8 hours a day minimum in them, that your man parts get stinky after just a few hours. You're just like, you can't breathe. There's no air movement. And everything starts to smell really bad. And then you have to have a shower at the end of the day. Now I don't have to have a shower at the end of the day because I've got airflow coming in right beside me from a fan that goes under my seat, cools my bum. I'm like, this is the best.
This would have been the perfect time to segue into an ad for Manscaping or something.
Oh, I know. It just totally, remember Storm Duper? Gotta shave your Death Stars.
I fucking love that. That was hilarious. So yeah, Halt and Catch Fire. That show's awesome, man. I got other people into it this time around watching it.
Yeah, and the fun thing about that show, and just to advocate for it, it's not just taking a linear look at technology. It actually visits technology at different time frames and explores different technologies. So you might be an old school DOS guy or an old school Mac guy that was building it in a garage, but you could also be a low-key ISP guy and still have a whole season of interesting things going on. And as someone who worked in a computer store, as someone who worked at an ISP, and having those same issues of just silver lines everywhere of the RJ12s and RJ11 phone lines, and just buckets of those things just hanging out everywhere in a rat's nest in the back room while you just plugged in US robotics modems and just piled them on top of one another and just baked them. Those were the days, man.
Those were the days, man. It's crazy how, it's crazy. But yeah, Halt to Catch Fire is such a good show. Paramount Plus, no, AMC Plus, or Apple. That's where you can find that show.
Or my friend's Plex.
Or Plex, or like I said, or like we say, the gray web. There's always the gray web available to you. So what else have I been watching? So I've been watching
How
Halt
have
to
you
Catch
been
Fire.
there?
I've been watching a lot of anime. My nephew Alexander has gotten me into a lot of anime again. And Mike is like reading like so much manga and talking to me about the manga. And Mike is like obsessive compulsive to the point where he needs to get like the entire everything, right?
I know the feeling.
Yeah. So he's been watching a lot of manga, anime, reading manga as well. So it's been a lot of anime in my life. Very weird. I
would recommend
coming from a point in time when we had to rely on fan subs to watch anime. Fan subs being that someone recorded it and someone literally created the subtitles for it. It was a fan who subtitled it. Fan subs.
I would highly recommend
simulcasting a show that's literally airing in Japan, and as soon as it airs in Japan, it's available on Crunchyroll. Crazy time.
That's crazy. But Crunchyroll are invested in that too, right? Like they're aiding and assisting it. I gotta say, there's a lot of good anime if you ever check it out on Netflix. In a lot of the Ghost in the Shell that was exclusively made for Netflix. I enjoyed some of those seasons, but it's rather dystopian, that's for sure. Like I've always been into the dystopian anime. That's been a thing. But did you happen to check out the Fallout show?
Of course. Yes, I have.
That was a bit of excellence, I gotta say. That one shocked me. It was actually good. Like, video game stuff is supposed to suck, but I thought Last of Us was going to be that unicorn. But
no,
Halo 2, Halo Season 2, it sucked, right? It was terrible shit.
You tell me.
I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it, but it missed the mark, Missed the mark. There are
Oh, it
elements I
was
liked
fun.
about it.
It kept the aura of the games,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Did. Yeah, and I've had difficulty getting into those games. I have them. I've played them. Some of them. I've not finished them. I've had difficulty with Fallout, and yet I really enjoyed the storyline. The characters I knew, who the major groups were and things like that. I've been around it enough. I have a friend, Mike, who's just so deep into it, so deep. He's got about 5,000 to 10,000 hours into Fallout 4.
Yeah,
He finishes it and starts it again. It's crazy.
I started Fallout 4, never finished it. Like I when I say I started, I played an hour and that was it. New Vegas I played.
Interesting. That one's Fallout 4 from what I hear, and we haven't really touched 76 either, myself or my friend.
Who's touched it? Who's playing it?
Well, here's the thing. The numbers are way up on 76.
I know. But
now
on the initial release,
for 5 years it was garbage.
Yeah,
for 5 years it was pure garbage. But they did work on it, and they added NPCs. Yeah. So the world wasn't completely bent on online players. So you had NPCs, and then it became a real game again, and that's what people are returning to. And you can fast track it, and you can enter into it at a level 20. So there's an opportunity there to get into the more advanced end of that game if you want to. And it's not, even if it's a dead world, it doesn't feel like it's a dead world. But Fallout 4 was more closely related to what was going on in Fallout, the TV show. So it looks like they're going to be at, for next season going to New Vegas.
Yeah,
so
that's what it looks like.
I thought
Spoiler
the ending
alert.
was extremely, well, we're weeks after it, so I'll say that. But I will just say this generally about the ending. No spoilers on this. And it is subject to change whether or not they go to New Vegas. We don't know for sure. It just hints heavily at it. But you have to laugh your ass off a little bit. The fact that Amazon is the company that published that, and the look of the big ass companies that dominate the world at that point, and the depiction that they had in that dystopian past is just the ironing was delicious.
Right. Right.
All I could say, I was slapping my knee all night. Just damn, they'd be one of the people at that thing. It would be like Microsoft, Amazon.
They would all be in the table. They would all be at that table, right? Like, and
Yeah.
that's the beauty part about that show. Let's talk about another show. We quickly touched on it last week, but yeah, let's talk about 3 Body Problems.
Oh, that show is just great. All I can say is prepare to have your mind blown in a good way, and don't let the horror-esque element of it. There's a lot of reasons to be pushed away from it because some of the topics seem disturbing the way that they do the trailers. But there's a really good show.
With the fact, Phil, if I may interject, a lot of people are turned off with the fact of who created this show.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, it's the guys from whatchamacallit, from Game of Thrones. They buggered up a season of Game of Thrones, but they got
or
9 of them
2.
right. They got 8 of them right, put it that way. So there's something there, and they're not doing a Star Wars thing, so they got to bounce into something. It wasn't Speed Racer. Come on. That was a deep cut at the Wachowski family there. But
right.
Yeah, I was excited by that because it just meant that there's people who know how to tell a story, and they were telling somebody else's story. And this was again, they're telling someone else's story, but from what I can tell, the story's already done, so there's no opportunity to reinterpret. Like, they don't have to wait for the author to die, right? Like,
well, the funniest part is that they are great at adapting something already out there, but clearly they cannot make new ideas.
Yeah, and that's fair. right? They got a riff on it. So, but the interesting part for me was just that, like I say, the topic thing was one that I thought was going to be touchy for me. I didn't like the whole, here's the scientists and they're seeing things and all that. It started coming across as one of these new horror movies, right? And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can handle that. And I don't know if I want to watch that late at night. And then I just kept on catching the hints that it's actually a sci-fi show. And it has the horror elements, like there are some pretty graphic scenes. But overall, I thought it was really well done. The acting was great by everybody. And the storyline really made a lot of sense, even though it was complex. And I just love the whole, it was like Black Mirror meets some, a 9-episode or a 10-episode series.
Yeah.
Just a more fleshed out single story.
Okay. We have a lot to talk about. Let's jump
into it. Looks like
the
balls
news.
On their face when they put the thing on.
I know. Yeah, it does. That always makes me laugh. We have a lot to talk about, and there's a couple things that I want to throw in here. Number one, I was on social media as a almost 40-year-old person does, right? TikTok to be exact. And I saw this video, and I sent it to Alex, and he can confirm this. And it was like, how do you hold your phone? Do you have your phone by you? How do you hold it?
What, to talk on it or to use it?
No, just like to browse.
Oh, like this.
Go on the camera. Show on the camera.
Just put it in your hand and away you go. You just look at it. Right?
But like, hold on. But where's your pinky?
Oh, it's just on the phone. Like
you have it. So you hold it like this.
Yeah, I just put my hand on it.
Okay. So I rest it on my pinky like this.
Understandable.
And apparently, a lot of people who do that are starting to get like phone finger. And it's true.
Interesting.
Like there's a bump where the phone would be. And I'm like, the years and the amount, like just the years that I have been holding a phone like that, working at BlackBerry, playing with test devices, literally spent 12 hours of my life on the phone for work, right?
Oh my gosh. No, I avoided doing that. I didn't like that feeling of it resting on my finger. So, but I've got a Pixel device and have had for a number of years. So my index finger rests under the camera bump. So that camera bump
you're going to start getting
it's going to start happening to my index finger. Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Amazon Prime confirms that Tomb Raider is getting a series for Prime Video with Phoebe Waller-Bridge as writer and executive producer. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, tons of shows and movies, including the latest Indiana Jones. Thoughts on that?
Oh, well, that will be interesting. I'm hoping that they keep their success ratio of game adaptations being successful, like Fallout, but
I hope it's more Fallout and less Halo.
Yeah, I need like Fallout to me was like the logical sequel to Twisted Metal.
Yeah.
It had that same feel. I need it to have something like that, like a little bit of sarcasm.
Yeah.
That type of thing. So if it had a little bit of sarcasm in there, then I think the flavor palette might be a little bit better.
Yeah.
But
all right.
We shall see. I don't know if she's the right person.
Who knows? A BAFTA poll. British American of Film and Television Arts listed the most iconic video game characters of all time. This hurts me on so many levels. This hurts me on so many levels. But again, it's a BAFTA poll, and I'm assuming that they polled people like 20 years old. So here's the list. We're gonna go through it real quick. 20, Nathan Drake, Uncharted. 19, Ellie Williams, The Last of Us. 18, Kazuma Kiryu from Yakuza. 17, Astarion from Baldur's Gate 3. 16, Cloud from Final Fantasy 7. 15, Crash Bandicoot from Crash Bandicoot. 14, Solid Snake, Metal Gear Solid. 13, and this is how I know that they interviewed and got polls from people like maybe 20 years old, if at all. Number 13, Steve from Minecraft.
Oh.
12, Pikachu from Pokemon. 11, Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption 2. You see where this list is going, right?
Yep, I do.
10, Shadowheart from Baldur's Gate 3. 9, Kratos from God of War. 8, Master Chief from Halo.
Okay.
All right. Are you ready for this?
I'm all right.
Number 7. Huh?
I'm all right so far.
I think you know where I'm going with this exactly.
I'm a little bit
considering
queasy because
what
I know
we were
where it's
just
going.
talking about.
Yeah.
Number 7, Link, The Legend of Zelda.
Okay.
Number 6, Pac-Man from Pac-Man.
I'm surprised.
Number
Pac-Man
5.
made it in there.
Number 5, Sockboy from Little Big Planet.
Wow. Okay.
Number 4, Sonic the Hedgehog from Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah. Is Mario one?
Number 3, Agent 47 from Hitman.
What?
Number 2, Mario from Super Mario.
Okay. I'm not
And number
shocked.
1, Lara Croft from Tomb Raider.
What? Laura. Wow. If Nathan Drake is 20 and Laura Croft is 1, interesting. Like, I know Nathan's newer, but I'm just. Laura's a tricky one because remember the old Tomb Raider games? Like the old ones, like not these newfangled ones that have everything. Like these were like back on your 486 as they cooked while you tried to render her booty. Like, it was crazy. They were weird games. They were fun. So I can see the old people voting for it, and I can see the new people voting for it because they do have the new games, and the new games are spectacular. They're fun to play.
Yeah, but the most iconic video game character, Lara Croft.
I'm surprised Donkey Kong never made that list.
Right? Or
Like
Bowser.
There's some omissions, Princess Peach. Like, there's just some people on there where I'm like, really? The top 20?
Agent 47, like 8.
Yeah, Agent 47 kills me. Agent 47. Oh, I don't like Lara Croft being number 1. It should be Mario. Like, hands down, Mario or Pikachu.
Yeah.
Nintendo are really good at what they do, and they reach so many people, adults and kids and parents. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because you would have had the odd parent just going, "Oh, it's that little fucking yellow thing, Pikachu." Right.
Speaking of Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon Season 2 gets the official trailer from HBO.
I haven't seen
coming
it
out
yet.
June. Good.
I'll watch it.
It's good.
Whatever. I watched the last one. It had me week to week. It was like,
Roadhouse sequel, led by Jake Gyllenhaal, in the works at Amazon.
And more ads coming our way in our free Amazon. Or paid
no more
for
free Amazon. You're paying for it.
Here's the great thing. If you're in Canada, you can't do anything with the ads. They're all products that only Americans can access. So it's a waste of time.
That's the funniest part.
I know.
Last of Us
Big
Season 2.
selling platform. Yeah.
Last of Us Season 2, currently filming in Vancouver. If you go on the interweb, you can see some pictures of Seattle.
Yeah. And Shogun probably getting a season 2.
Probably. Not confirmed.
Not confirmed.
Probably getting a second season.
Yeah, they don't want to stay away from that if they can avoid it. That second season scares me because there was no second book, and it covered all of the book.
Hey, as long as it's different people doing this,
we're in
from
Benny
Game of
Hoff and
Thrones.
Weiss. We're in Benny Hoff and Weiss territory.
Agatha, Disney Plus series, gets an official title and release date. So Catherine Hahn says that Agatha all along at Disney's upfront today. It is coming out September 18th on Disney Plus.
Wow. It's in the can then. They're doing
A lot
post.
happened. Like I said, upfronts for both WB Discovery and Disney happened today. So tons of news to talk about.
Oof. That's good. I'm happy about that. Well, wait, what? Less is more with the MCU. That's what I saw Kevin Feige say.
Yeah, well, more MCU news. Daredevil Born Again is coming out March 2025. The first trailer was shown behind closed doors today.
Interesting. Well, you can just watch She-Hulk, the only season of She-Hulk, because they canceled season 2 of that. Thank goodness. Not that I hated the show. I just felt that it really unraveled at the end.
Speaking of unraveling at the end, Mortal Kombat 2 is coming out October 24th on IMAX and Max.
I hope it does well.
IMAX in theaters, regular, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I hope it does well. That's a franchise that, again, I'm surprised nobody from that was on the top 20.
Or anyone from Street Fighter.
Or anyone from Street Fighter or Tekken.
Like literally anyone from Street Fighter.
I was a Tekken guy. There's a lot of those too. I'm like, really? Okay. That was a choice.
Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, gets a June 2026 release date.
Oh, good stuff. It's great that there's female superheroes that are getting like screen time, like significant. I don't have an issue with that.
Ironheart confirmed for a 2025 release, and they got at the upfronts a trailer, and it's due to be released sometime in 2025.
That'll be exciting. I'm curious.
Yeah.
This is a lot of good TV and a lot of good stuff. I hope that it doesn't suck.
All of this, all the upfronts with Disney, no talk about anything Star Wars. Like,
of course
we were talking about last time. They've learned the hard way not to, open up that can of worms. Don't to open up
go
Pandora's
there
box.
Unless you're 100% sure. The only Star Wars news I've seen this past little bit has been that they've signed Sigourney Weaver to be in Mando and Grogu.
Yeah.
So she's got a character in there, and I think I saw that was official last night. So who knows if it is, if it isn't, I don't know. But usually the scuttlebutt is pretty on point for actor signing. So, and Gina Carano is still being stupid. So she's trying to make up and go back to work.
Speaking of Amazon Prime, The Boys has been renewed for season 5 a month before season 4 even premieres.
Good. They need that show, that and Invincible. Are two of the good ones.
Are you caught up with Invincible? Alex,
I haven't watched season 2. I haven't watched season 2.
Yeah, season 2 is excellent. So fucking good. So good.
Yeah. I just want to binge it. I just want to watch the thing.
Spider-Man Noir coming to Prime Video. Live action. Nicolas Cage is starring.
Interesting.
Right? Kind of random.
He needs more money. Jeez. That guy's in everything. Oh my goodness. Well, why not? Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
He's caught up.
Cage. He's caught up. Kid's caught up.
Kid's caught up. I'm not.
Yeah. Are you watching X-Men 97, Phil?
No, I'm not. My friends are asking me this.
Fuck, man.
I haven't gone week to week. Yeah, I haven't gone week to week.
Tomorrow's the finale. I didn't
watch the original. So how adaptable? Like, can I just pick up 97?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay, I'll watch it then. Okay.
You know the characters.
Very
they kind of catch you up quickly in the first couple episodes ish.
Oh, okay. Hey man, I'm always up for. Is there Gambit? Gambit's in this.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm happy. I like Gambit. Apparently, I don't know what I'm saying, but I heard that there's a lot of Cyclops.
There's all the Cyclops. All the Cyclops.
Yeah.
All the Cyclops.
That's
But yeah.
what I heard. But
Season finale's tomorrow. It's going to be crazy. Disney sent. Actually, it's probably in my email right now. Today at 8 p.m., they sent a screener.
oh, good.
Media embargo until it actually gets released.
Oh, that's great. Hey,
Yeah.
I heard nothing but good things about it, so I can't say I would never say anything bad, but I've heard nothing but good from my friends and whatnot, and I trust them.
Yeah. Have you been following what's? I know we're jumping a lot, but like I say, there's just a lot to talk about. The GameStop stuff, like what's happening with that stock again.
No, please update me. Update us.
Oh
I'm
my
part of the
God. This has been absolutely crazy. So, Roaring Kitty kind of made his
Yeah.
return. He posted something, that you know, that meme with the gamer who's kind of chilling and then sits up.
Mm-hmm.
So he posts that May 12th at 8 p.m. And then since then, the stock price went up as high as 110% throughout the day yesterday. Today, the stock is up 68% from its previous close, and it's up 76% year to year.
They're doing stonks again.
Yep.
I don't know how I feel about that, man. Like, but here's the thing. I'm not mad at the guys for doing it because corporations do it all the time. And
So
never
it's
get
at
in trouble for it.
48.75 right now. It's up 59.84% through the day. Overnight trading, it's gone from 48.75, and right now it's trading at $51.
Are they just trying to cash out?
That's what I think.
Yeah, like there's got to be an exit
That's
strategy.
again, we're not telling
financial
anyone to buy.
advisors.
We're not telling anyone to sell. We don't own. I don't own GameStop's stock.
Neither do I that I'm aware of.
Yep.
I think
We're
I'm
just
financially
talking.
divested of it. So we're just talking as two normal dudes talk about stuff that we see. Not giving advice.
That's
just gotta be out
exactly.
there. We're just
we gotta say that. Every time we talk anything like that, I'm like, hold on, take a step back. You gotta get those things out there.
The disclaimer is there. So I just see that there's the reason why I say that is because I see a lot of guys who bought the stock during
between
the
the time that I said it was at $51, it's now at $54.12.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people who bought the stock and they locked in for the ride. They never dumped. And you could tell that it wasn't going to be long lived. It wasn't going to be like a year from now the stock is still going to be $100. And I think a lot of people have sat with it in a lower form. That's why I speculate openly. Re-stimulating the market also means taking on more of it. But if you can dump your losses at a higher price, then you're going to come out cleaner than if you did
over
nothing.
the past 6 months, the stock is up 267.37%. Over the past month, it's up 384.59%.
Wow.
Over the past 5 years, the stock is at 2,167.44%.
Higher. That's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
This is what we call. This is what's called on the market a shorting the trade.
I'm interested to see if anyone calls foul this time around.
Oh, somebody will, because they're not the ones profiting.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason why it got called out last time. Corporations do this all the time. They just do it and don't get caught.
Mm-hmm.
The minute
they get caught, everyone knows what
internet,
they're doing.
I know. The minute unwashed masses do it, like the kids on the internet, they'll just go, "Oh, that's manipulation. Shut it down." It's kind of gross. But if you have millions, you're allowed to do it. Well,
That's
it's
exactly
technically
it.
against the rule, but no one will actually press charges. You know. Oh well. I'll never forget.
Right? Go figure.
I worked on a trading floor. And I'll never forget going into a place one time that I was installing a new system, because that's what we did, communication systems for them. And the guys asked me what company I worked for, and I told them. and they all just went pale-faced, and they all said, "Get a new job." I'm like, "What?" And they had just finished doing a short sell on our company, and were trying to bankrupt us. And they were
How
like,
long
"Get a new job."
from the time
2
that
months
this
later,
happened and you
I was looking for a new job. 2 months later, I was gone. Oh.
That's amazing. Sorry for the dead air there.
No,
It's so
all
hot
right.
here in Toronto. It is disgustingly hot.
Does
I
it
basically
smell like smoke down there?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it stinks there too. All right. It stinks of smoke
Yeah.
here from the wildfires. And I hope
Yeah,
everybody's
there's a few
okay.
wildfires going around. Can only imagine how it smells at, like where Alexander is.
Oh
BC.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's why I say I hope everybody's safe.
Yeah.
I know my ex-wife is near one of the fires.
I'm not saying anything.
No, I'm generally, hopeful that she's okay. 'Cause she's got dogs and stuff. Like, yeah. I still talk to her.
I know. I'm sure.
I just love that it got you. Like, just what?
Because I was gonna say something, but I'm like, I'm not going to. I'm not going to.
No.
I'm not gonna say anything. Yeah, no, I spent the entire day out today from like noon to about 6. Basically walked. Ended up walking like 13, 14 kilometers today.
Wow, good for you. You must have felt like you smoked a cigar, because like if I walk around downstairs in my house, I can smell it everywhere, and it's just like,
Dude,
it's raunchy.
By the end of it, actually, I was the person I was talking to. I could tell my voice was starting to get a little more hoarse.
Yeah, it'll do it to you. That's why this
It was,
episode of the It's Canon podcast is brought to you by water.
Yeah, water and manscaping. No,
Yes,
it's really not.
You got to shave your Death Stars.
No, but like, yeah, no, it's so
I recommend getting the Gillette.
What is it tonight? Fuck. Even like right now, it is humid. It's 16 degrees, but there's still a shit ton of humidity.
Yeah.
I love how this is where we are. This is where we are in our friendship.
This is the old man. Like, this is the geek
airtime. Where we take airtime and people's time as they thankfully tune into us, whether it be podcast or live, because you can see all of our shenanigans live on YouTube, on Facebook, on X, and on Twitch.
Don't worry, I've got my outro down this week.
All right, good. We should join Kick. We should start the Kick parade.
Kick makes me feel weird, but I'm not sure. I've just seen some weird things about it, but it's still here. It's not Mixer. So that's the funny thing. Yeah. I'm playing old video game and there's a whole bunch of Mixer gear in it. I'm like, yeah, not going to unlock that hat.
Yeah.
Welcome to Geek Therapy, everybody.
Yeah, this is Geek Therapy. There is talk of even changing the show name, but it's a lot of work to change the show name.
I know. Once I made that list, I'm like, I don't know.
We can keep the logo, luckily.
Yeah, true enough. I just like that song.
But I paid It's Canon Podcast for till 2026. That's literally the big thing.
Well, then we'll look at it then.
Oh, there you go. There you go. But yeah, so a lot of stuff is, and I'm refreshing because news is still coming in literally when we started recording here on Tuesday. News is still coming in, but it looks like all of the news is out. So yeah, so Ironheart, Daredevil, Agatha. It was Agatha all along. Those are the big Disney stuff. DC, we got Supergirl. Then on the WB stuff, we got Warner Brothers. Mortal Kombat. Yellow Jackets season 3 is in production. That's a great fucking
I haven't watched
show.
that. I've seen it. Like, I've seen the show. I just haven't watched it. I haven't watched an episode yet. Might have to check it out.
All right. Let's, we're winding down. We're at that point of the day, but I wanted to talk about something. I sent you the article. I sent it to Dax, actually, and Him and I had a good conversation about this yesterday because I'm not like Dax has a relatively successful show. He does everything on his own.
Yeah.
He pays for it on his
Yeah.
own, meaning he doesn't take
Handouts.
review copies from anyone, from no one, for nothing, from movies to video games to comics. He funds his entire show on his own.
Smart man.
Because this is starting to happen. And like I said, there's a website that has an N on the end, a G in the middle, and an I at the start that kind of falls victim to this. And we've talked about this so many times, but it's happening more and more and more. And this is this the first time that a company's kind of been shat on for essentially not allowing negative reviews from their review pool?
They kind of go back and forth from my experience over the past little while. Because remember, there's the whole Redfall thing. They broke that Redfall sucked.
Yeah.
Right. And they've made a few overt moves to really out games as not being good. And I thought that was a weird shoe for them to be wearing, because my previous impression was that they were in the pocket of some companies on reviews, right? Where they'd give everything a 9, and then the Metacritic score comes out and it's like a 6 type thing. So I'm a little bit confused if maybe the review side of it says one thing and then the actual reviewers say another. But I don't spend enough time on that website or on their content to really. They have a few people I like, but.
So we're talking about Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals is going to be a hero shooter video game developed and published by NetEase Games in collaboration with Marvel Games. The game is set to release for Microsoft Windows and Mac OS. The game is slated to be free to play with a current lineup of 18 characters from Marvel Comics. Now, so reviews, copies started coming out. And if you read the terms of service or contract for getting a review copy, there was a non-disparagement clause to prevent players giving negative reviews. So you couldn't talk shit or bad or say anything negative about this game.
So you can't be real.
Yep.
See, fundamentally, I'm, obviously against anything like that, because it just means that you're misleading the public on your game. We're also adept enough as gamers to know when the game is being played. Look how many games start to be on the baseline of coming out, and then you see the reviewers get told that there's an embargo on them releasing their reviews until the night before the game releases. Whenever a game
Avengers?
does, what's that?
EA Avengers?
Yeah, EA Avengers. What was the Suicide Squad?
Mm-hmm.
It's a hallmark of terrible games that are games as a service that just basically end up missing the mark, and they're promising to fix it later. You know what I mean? And again, this whole thing just doesn't sit well with me. It's make a product that works out of the box. Like, I get that you might want to further refine it down the road, but don't make the public beta your test and then beta your product and then try to dissuade them from being able to say how far back in development your product is. It might be a great game, but I don't think it's going to launch in a great spot if that's the tactic that they're using on beta testing it.
NetEase has apologized for inappropriate and misleading terms in its content creator contracts. In a statement posted in Discord shortly after the contract began to make headlines, the Marvel Rivals content creator team said it sincerely apologized for the miscommunication and your unpleasant experiences. They further said, "We are aware that there are inappropriate and misleading terms in the commitment regarding sharing non-disparagement content." The full statement said, "We sincerely apologize for the miscommunications and your unpleasant experiences. Our stand is absolutely open for both suggestions and criticisms to improve our game, and our mission is to make Marvel Rivals better, satisfy players by those constructive suggestions. We are now working on revising the miscommunication terms from our commitment. The progress will be shared with every creator in a timely manner. Now, here's the thing about this, right? We all know this happens. We know that certain companies will send out to the review pool, and if they get something that they don't like, you get cut off. You get blacklisted.
Yep.
We know this happens. But to actually put it in a fucking contract, to put you in a legal place where they can sue you because you gave a negative review, that's fucked.
I'll put it two ways. Number one, they issued an apology saying, sorry, we got caught. All right, that's cynical me.
They didn't actually really apologize. They apologized for getting caught, not for doing what they did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They didn't actually say that they're going to properly fix it. They just said they're going to make it better, maybe, give us time. So that's bullcrap. But I also do understand that it will take a certain amount of time to get the legal advice to make the changes, and lawyers don't move fast, right? Lawyers are glacially slow when it comes to especially stuff like this. But the fact that the lawyer got to write that in the first place is the part that's scary as shit. This is exactly
the fact that not only did the lawyer get it in, but someone instructed the lawyer to actually do it. That's the part that scares me, that there's someone in the corporate chain that thought this was a good idea.
It's a good idea. This is exactly what happened with Dungeons and Dragons. Curse of the Wizards.
Literally, I was
templated
Bravo.
right off of that. Like even the response, "We're sorry we got caught," is exactly out of their playbook. Now, to their credit, they ate it. Right? We have seen a company eat it in this past week too. I'm just trying to think of who made the misstep, and Sony with Helldivers 2.
Yeah.
Right? They totally aided on that. They reversed the decision so you didn't have to merge your PlayStation account with it. So therefore, players in countries, because Sony is only available in 69 countries. Hey-oh. But regardless of that, Helldivers was previously sold in over 200 countries. So they were going to seal off all of those countries. But they're doing the same thing, though. They're, just to show they never learned anything. They're doing the same thing with Ghost of Tsushima on PC. You have to log in with your PC, with your PSN, and they're issuing refunds to all the people who bought the game in countries where there is no PSN. So get ready. They're going to do it again. Like, they'll keep on doing this until we don't complain. Yeah. That's all that this is.
But taking it back to the actual reviewer pool stuff, to me, it's crazy, man, because it's scary. And I think we're getting back to that point where which reviews can you trust? Because, companies like the G and I, they're going to succumb. They're not going to not want to be in good books with every company humanly possible.
They need to be out on that bleeding edge, right? So I think that basically you're just going to have to wait for a game to release and look at the critical review score from users. But even that is subject to tamperment, because goodness knows how many people go after a game that isn't even released yet, or go after a game for, look at what happened to Last of Us 2. And now you have all those people who said that they'd never play it going back and playing it and going, oh, you know what? This is a pretty good game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. It's crazy. How do you guys feel about the Microsoft stuff? Which stuff? There's a lot of Microsoft stuff.
I think he means
Game Pass. There.
Yeah, I know what he's talking about.
Which one?
The Game Pass stuff. Oh,
what about it?
They basically shut down 5 studios.
Yeah.
And the essential blame was that Game Pass killed them. Because these games performed really well, but they didn't perform financially well because they were first day Game Pass runs. So it's a fact that the Hi-Fi Rush, one of the most acclaimed games from the other year, and they've released it on PlayStation now, but it basically underperformed, and they're blaming the Game Pass model. They're not getting enough new subscriptions. These games aren't driving new subscriptions. Well, no guff. They can't enter into new markets. So then what do? They go around, they shutter the studio, and then they make a statement the next day saying, we need more games like Hi-Fi Rush. Well, if you need more games like Hi-Fi Rush, why did you shut down the studio? And it's basically Game Pass is just going to be this model where a whole bunch of smaller studios make snappy and exciting games, B-class and AA games. Then Xbox is just going to go back, rent them, put them on Game Pass for a while, and try to get users that way. It's just going to become, that's what the service is going to be. They're going to up the price for it. I guarantee you.
Now, my question is, okay, so, and then I know I know the answer to this, but I'm just going to ask it as a devil's advocate. I'm putting on my Tyler hat right now.
Yep.
Why don't these companies just sell these studios rather than close them?
Well, all that's going to happen is you're going to see the people who are let go back and regroup and make their own studio. Right. And that becomes the B and the A studios, because you see they're going to distribute through the smaller places, right? That don't need to have the AAA titles to make the financial sense. They're just going to sell these games to Sony's subscription service and the Microsoft subscription service and make money that way, along with direct sales. But the part that kills me in all of this, Phil, is the fact that they shutter studios. Yeah.
And that's the end of that IP.
$3 billion company, and they can't keep that studio afloat. And they kill the creativity out of it. They homogenize the entire workforce. And then they expect them, oh, well, when we don't make enough money off of you because we only make money off of AAA games. And even then, we're not making money.
Like, here's the thing now. If you are, but it's hard because a lot of these video game studios have VCs and investors that the founders and creators and people who actually do the work actually don't have a say, because the logical solution to this is don't fucking sell to Microsoft.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen because, unfortunately, these people don't actually have control of these companies and those types of decisions.
Everybody's got to cash out at a certain point, right?
That's why VCs scare me.
You don't think Bobby Kotick made a pretty penny on his way out the door with Microsoft boot up his ass? And that should have gone up way higher than it did. He got paid way too much money. But he mismanaged the company. He did it incredibly well on his own without Microsoft. Microsoft inherited a disaster in that place. Yeah. But it's a messed up video game world. Like it's going to be 5 or 6 years, I think, before these smaller studios start learning how to interact with these big game studios. And
because
God
why
knows how
wouldn't
many
you want to be?
lose.
Hey, Phil, look, Microsoft just emailed us and they gave us a $10 offer where we can be on Game Pass. Why the fuck wouldn't we take it?
Yep. It's easy money, right? Like it's money that's on the table. But I just can't believe that the studios
milks you. They milk you for everything you have, and then they toss you to the side. Or, once you stop laying those golden eggs, you're cold. That's it.
Yep, exactly. But, now they're going to try to play well with Sony. They're going to try to play well with Sony because they want access to that market. Like, the gun's up against Phil Spencer's head right now. He's got he's being told by Microsoft that he needs to start making money. It's no longer fun. After they spent $69 billion on Activision, it's no longer fun hemorrhaging cash. So you can tell that the pressure's on. And this is how he's doing it. He's he's letting people go and using those numbers to supplant the fact that he's trying to make money, because he's not making money on the things that he's forecasted. And that's Game Pass.
No, but this is going back and going completely full circle on this. This is what scares me so much about the comic book industry. And that's the fact that at some point, Disney and Warner Brothers Discovery, especially if you look at how Warner Brothers Discovery treats all their IP, fuck, man, we can be in a point in history very soon where they say fuck it and they stop producing comic books.
Yep. It would be even worse when they make them disappear.
Yeah.
Right?
Or they change the medium. They it's all specials, right? Like they change the format. I don't even want to throw out ideas and the odd chance that somebody listens.
Imagine
it's anthologies once a year and that's it.
It was all digital all the time. No more books.
But
Only special
this is the thing.
editions.
This is the scary part about the things we love being owned by these mega corporations that have no fucking idea what they have or the fandoms behind them.
It's why I had to go out and buy this today.
I was literally going to say, right? Like,
because I'm like, yep, I'm going back to my 4K discs, baby. And my friends are making fun of me. And I'm like, no, doesn't matter. No, I can pull down that movie. I can watch it. It's I don't want to see my stuff go away. I don't want to see the library go away. And I'm worried about, that the DVDs are going to be gone. I'm worried about the print industry getting chased after. It's just crazy. And they're going to make the people who make the business profitable be the ones who suffer. I've seen it floated out there this week that imagine if you could support your local comic book store. And this is by Comic Book Couples Council, right? Our friends. They were tweeting out that what if you could buy your digital comics from your comic book store to at least support them? I think that's a great idea. But
taking
you're
the
just
same
putting
type
the
of methodology
knife
that GameStop has.
You're just putting a knife to their throats.
Dude, have you gone to the new Walmarts?
No.
Like all the Walmarts are getting updated, right? You should go to their electronics section. It is fucking scary because they have no physical media.
Yeah, that's worrying me. They're
now,
just starting to update ours up here.
Now, there is some physical media, but it's not like you go in and you grab it. You have to pick the ticket and then everything is locked up, right? Because the economy is so bad that they have to lock everything up. But a lot, if you look at the video games especially, there's a lot of digital codes rather than physical media that you're going to be getting.
Here's the problem that I have, and exactly that. If I'm buying a video game and I'm buying a blank disc that I still have to just bloody well download the video game when I get home, there's no point. Like, it's not like back in the days you could wind it back and load your first version of Halo and just not connect to the internet and you'll have a buggy game. You're always there.
And now with live service?
Yeah.
And we were talking last time, right? That even when you buy a physical version of the game, you're just buying a physical disc. The game is still being downloaded from somewhere.
It's like there's 50 megabytes of a screen that says connect here. and it's like, okay, come back in 3 hours. Thank you. Like, that's it. It's
or
shameful.
2 days when I'm trying to download a new Last of Us game and it explodes on me.
Yeah. Well, don't have your hard drive explode.
I'm physical all the way, unless there's like too good of a price. Hellblade 1 for $350.
Yeah,
exactly.
and
that's the thing.
There are those things, right? Like I buy a lot of digital games
you can't not find physically anymore.
Yep, exactly. And that does happen a lot. And goodness knows how many times I've dug into Sony's back catalog on their game service just to play an older game. And I'm like, it's there. It's missing its add-on because there was a issue with music, but you can at least play the game and good luck finding it. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, man. It is absolutely crazy right now. So let's get our final thoughts about this whole reviewer thing. Yeah, this is why I prefer the format of the show that we have.
Yep.
We do get stuff. And if we get blacklisted, we get blacklisted, right?
Yep.
We've been on shit lists before. We've repaired the relationship, but thank you, Disney.
Yes, thank you, Disney.
But overall, it's I would rather, like Dax, pay for our stuff, review it, and you're gonna get a unfiltered, unbullshitted review. That's what you're gonna get from the Canon Podcast.
Warner Brothers did not supply me the 4K disc. It was actually supplied by Amazon in exchange for my hard-earned money.
But someone did deliver it to you, right?
Oh yeah. That guy knows my place.
So that's honestly it. It comes down to that. Dax is of the same mindset of us. I would rather you look, if you're cash strapped and that's why you're looking for handouts from these companies, that's fine, whatever. But just remember that there's a point where these companies might not want you around anymore.
Don't sacrifice your integrity for a product, because
That's right.
it'll come back to bite you in the ass.
I think you need to add. We need to add this to the intro and the outro, and that's literally the only geek podcast that don't meat ride evil corporations.
Whatever does he mean? What's a meat ride, Boris?
I don't know. It was something. Anyways, I don't even want to.
Teasing. Well, if you're looking to email us about meat rides or anything else, you can find us at www.itscanonpodcast.com. You can track us down on Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, or Twitter, if you like to call it, at It's Canon Podcast. You can email us at show@itscanonpodcast.com. You can subscribe anywhere that you can find podcasts. You're going to find the It's Canon Podcast. And be sure to check out, and I didn't have my notes in here about the SNME. So how about you drop in our friends at SNME? Oh, here we go. Patreon.com/SNME Radio. You can go visit our friends. If you really like wrestling, Boris is over there, and they've got their own Patreon. So please support the channel. And wherever you are watching this, wherever you are enjoying this, please consider giving us a like and a subscribe if possible. It helps the algorithm. And tell your friends to listen to the It's Canon Podcast.
Thanks, Phil. As always, it has been a pleasure. Thank you for everyone listening, whether it's a podcast form or watching us live here on Facebook, X, Twitch, and YouTube. You can watch us live each and every single Monday-ish, 7:30 p.m.-ish, depending on tech issues. We try to do it Mondays, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, every single week. Phil, as always, it has been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure talking with everyone live here on the show. Consider watching us live. Or if not, continue listening to podcasts. If this has been the first episode or the 126th episode of the It's Canon Podcast, we thank you so much. He's Phil. I'm Boris. Till next time, take care.